Welcome back to Bravo Breaking News with Kim and Lisa. On this week's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Dorit and Kyle finally, let's hope, put an end to text gate, but not before Kyle's double standards get called out.
We know the editors love a good shady flashback, and they did not hesitate to call her out. They were putting Kyle on blast, but Sutton was also questioning her accountability when she had that apology dinner. And then later on, Kyle is questioning Sutton's double standards. So we are just all over the place.
All over the place. And I think you and me might be a little bit all over the place too, because I think we might have differing opinions on Sutton this episode. So we're going to get into it. I can't wait to hear your thoughts. But before we dive in, you guys know what to do. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more Bravo Breaking News.
Okay, so we start with Kyle's house, and I have to say, or I have to ask the question, what is she wearing on her arms? I kept waiting for her to acknowledge it. I kept waiting for Portia to ask. I kept waiting for Erica to ask, and it was never brought up. So she's wearing these like black things on her arms. They didn't look like arm weights or anything, bala bangles. So if anyone knows, just let me know, because if it's like a wellness thing, maybe I'm interested.
Yeah, I had the same question as well. I thought they were arm weights at first. If you look a little closer, they might have some sort of like loop that it like connects to some sort of like fitness equipment, possibly. I don't know. Drop it in the comments if you guys know, because I definitely don't know. I'm still lost.
Yeah, and I, might want to join in on whatever trend it is. Anyway, so there's kind of a sad moment because Kyle says that she is kind of lonely in the house, and like she has 4 daughters, but they're all kind of grown up. Portia's the only one who lives at home, and like sometimes she's not there. Sounds like she stayed at her dad's place. And we just kind of see that Kyle is entering into this new phase of life where she's going to kind of be an empty nester. And without Mo, that's like super lonely. So then she calls Erica and they talk about the whole situation that went down at Bose's house. Erica starts referring to the group as the board of directors because it kind of seems like everyone needs to sign off on everything before progress can be made or before, any argument is deemed final. And Kyle basically says, like, look, I'm going to try one more time with Dorit to kind of work through things. And then if she still continues to bring it up, then I'm just going to disengage. She is going to Meredith Marks her way out of it and just disengage.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I'm with Erica on this one. I'm sick of it. I'm over it. Like, let them deal with it. I'm glad that we finally reached some sort of resolution, but I don't know. Let's be real, Kyle. You're the one in the wrong here. And this is really what gets my blood boiling, is that out of this entire episode, Kyle has not apologized once to the people who actually need an apology, and that is Dorit and Bose. She apologizes to everybody else in the group but them, and that is a trend that we'll see throughout the episode. But let's move on to this meetup with Dorit and Bose. And I just have to say, first of all, in this scene, Bose looked like a porcelain doll. She was absolute perfection. There was not a blemish or a line or anything on her face. I don't know if it was the lighting or if that's how she looks IRL. She better be at BravoCon because I need to see this for myself. She's perfection.
Literally not one pore to be seen. And I think part of it is glam, but I also think she just has beautiful skin naturally.
Yeah.
Well, you could put all the makeup in the world on me. You're still going to see, some lines and some pores.
Of course. I just have to call out that beauty because it was stunning. It left me awestruck. But anyway,
I'm loving this pair, and I think you are too. This dynamic duo of Dorit and Bose who have become fast friends. I'm here for it.
I am so here for it. We saw them on Watch What Happens Live last week. Bose was in the clubhouse for the first time. And Dorit was sitting in the audience chairs like she was her significant other, like they're rooting her on. And it was Bose's birthday. They celebrated together. There's all these pictures of them on social media, like holding hands and like caressing each other. Like this is real. And I know a lot of people are going to call Dorit out thinking that it's a calculated move and stuff like that. But Bose is too smart for that. She's not going to fall for something that's not genuine. I really think this is a genuine friendship. And I think that it came from the fact that they, they have similar pasts, I guess, just with relationships. She lost a husband. I'm not saying that divorce and death are the same thing. Not going to go, that New York route. But I don't know. I just feel like they clicked really instantly. And I also love to see it. And in this moment, you could tell that Bose she's very invested in this Dorit and Kyle, and she is like getting down to the nitty gritty and analyzing everything that each one of them says to really find out like who's in the wrong here.
Right. Like, where's the lie? She's gonna get to it. And basically she asked Dorit, what did Kyle know that you were having problems in your marriage? And Dorit says yes. She says, last year I confided in her. This was way before the separation. And so Bose is like, all right, then Kyle saying that she didn't know is not true. Now, I will give Kyle a little bit of grace because she herself was probably going through a lot of turmoil with Mo, and maybe she just wasn't prioritizing what Dorit was telling her. I don't know. But she knew that they weren't in the best of places.
She knew. They've had conversations on camera. Cue the flashbacks. The editors are bringing out the flashbacks once again. But we know, we all saw it. Dorit told her that she was having issues with PK. And it's very apparent that that is what happened. And I don't like how Kyle is using that as a cop-out. But we also learned some new information about how the separation actually happened. And I'm interested to get your thoughts on this because it actually wasn't PK that told her he wanted to separate from her. It was his sponsor. And Dorit is still confused. She shares in the confessional that she's still confused to this day whether it was what PK actually wanted or what his sponsor recommended. Like, this is insane.
This was so wild. I didn't even know how to process this. So basically she's saying that there was like a conversation that was had between PK herself and PK's sponsor, and his sponsor was the one doing the talking, saying, I think it's time for you guys I think you guys need to take some time apart. And PK didn't really say much. So I assume that PK had that conversation with the sponsor prior, and maybe he just didn't have the balls to tell Dorit. That's weird. That is fucking weird.
Yeah, it seems like the sponsor and PK, I assume, were on the same page here. But if there was like a random third party, even, I don't know, I've never been to therapy. If you have, please let me know if this is wrong. But like if a third party came into my marriage and said, I think you guys need to separate, like, no. I think that's a decision that I need to make, or my spouse and I need to make together on our own, and come to that on our own versus somebody else realizing it and telling us. I don't know.
Yeah. I would be like, okay, and what do you think about this, PK? Like, yeah. I'm not married to your sponsor. He's not a part of this marriage. So why is he the one telling me that we need to separate? It's very strange.
What I would give to be a fly on the wall in some of these conversations between Dorit and PK, the 4-hour therapy session, this moment where the sponsor separates, basically separates them. I don't know. I think there's a lot going on behind closed doors that we don't even know about.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so what do you think about this Kyle dinner, this sort of get-together before the main get-together? Because they're all planning on going to Garcelle's beach house, and The night prior, Kyle invites some of the ladies, Sutton, Garcelle, and Erica, to dinner. And everyone thinks it's a little weird. Like, why are we getting together as a partial group right before we were supposed to get together as a big group? But what do you think about this? Do you think Kyle did it so that she could, try and smooth things over and sort of rally the troops, like Garcelle was saying?
Of course. I mean, that's so obvious. Everybody knew. We knew. We could see right through it. They can see right through it. This is a calculated move. And I think it's the wrong move because everybody can see that it's so disingenuous. She's simply trying to rally anybody that she can in order to apologize. And I'm sorry, I'm with Sutton on this one. What are you apologizing for to this group? The people that you owe an apology to are Bose and Dorit, not anybody in this group. So I understand Sutton's confusion when she comes in and is like, why are we doing this?
So here's the thing about Sutton. I think she wanted Kyle to say, I'm sorry for making a big scene and walking out because I know I've called you out on doing that before, Sutton. I don't think Sutton cared that she didn't apologize to Dorit and Bose. I really don't think that was her angle when she kept questioning Kyle. I was just so annoyed because it was clear that Kyle wasn't going to say what Sutton wanted to hear. And Sutton was just being annoying about it. Like, Kyle was trying to talk and she kept saying, for what? And what does that mean? Well, what do you mean by that exactly? And what part? And I was just like, you could see Garcelle's face too, and Erica. They were like eating their little, French fries or whatever they had. Like, oh, this is a little like uncomfortable here.
Yeah, no, I get it. Like, I feel like Sutton's intention don't match mine, but I still appreciated her questioning everything that Kyle was about in this moment and Garcelle. I mean, okay, so the moment where Garcelle finally says, girl, this was more than memes. You need to realize this and take accountability for it. And
Yeah.
then Kyle just spirals off and is like, my marriage is being questioned, my sexuality, and now my character. Like, I can't take this. I can't take this. I can't take being questioned. Cue the flashbacks. Thank you, editors, for every moment that they shared. We got Denise, we got Erica, and we got Sutton, Kyle going after every single one of them, being like, well, if something gets brought up in this group, we have to question it. We have to ask the hard questions. Like, it is so hypocritical of her to be whining and crying about people questioning her about this when that is what she has done every season of this goddamn show. And I'm really glad that they're calling it out because it infuriates me.
Okay, now what did you think about when Sutton said Erica might be one of Kyle's minions, but Sutton and Garcelle are not?
Woohoo! Yes. Yes.
Oh, I think Erica's going to be so pissed when she hears that.
Okay. So, yes, I think the word minion is maybe a little, harsh, but I think what she means is Erica, she's not really going to question either one of them. She's just riding the wave. She is just kind of there to hang out and support where she can, but not get too in the middle and stuff. Garcelle and Sutton do not have loyalty to either one of them and are not afraid to question them. So I think that's what she meant by that, is that, like, we're not afraid to question these women. Erica will not question them. And I don't know whether it's because of their relationship with her or because Erica's been in the hot seat and has had her fair share of questioning, so doesn't feel good about reversing it on them. I don't know. I agreed with that in that moment.
See, I feel like Erica does, I wouldn't say she never questions them. Like, I think she does kind of stand up to them in her own way. Like, even when they were at the place getting a facial and Dorit was kind of pressing her and she was like, look, I want to be an impartial like party here. And she wasn't catering to Dorit just because Dorit was in front of her. But I also think Erica kind of deserves to have a season where she's not like she's had quite a few seasons where she was in the hot seat, and it's like, I'm glad that she gets to like take a little break.
No, I agree 100%. I've been saying that all season. You know, like some of these housewives, I hold different housewives at different moments to different standards. And while some other people or housewives in Erica's shoes, I'd be like, what are they bringing to the show? They're bringing nothing, fire them. I think that Erica deserves some peace.
Yeah. Okay. So we're getting ready to go to Garcelle's house, and everyone's gathering at Kyle's, even Dorit, which I was surprised about. I was surprised that we didn't have, separate cars just arriving at Garcelle's. So Dorit comes in and she starts telling this very heartfelt story and heartbreaking story about how Jagger asked her if her and daddy were getting a divorce. And, everyone is just like, oh my God, like that's really hard. I'm so sorry to hear that. And Dorit's kind of sharing this very vulnerable moment and talking about her child and how what she's going through is affecting him. And then all of a sudden, Little Miss Southern Manners just rudely interrupts and says, speaking of best friends, Garcelle's expecting us, and she just wants this day to be filled with positivity and love. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what is happening right now? Like, it was the most wrong someone. Oh, this has got to be in the top 5. And Sutton just like went for it and was like, well, we're going to be late. So, sorry to hear about that, but let's go.
Yeah, no, Sutton. This was, and then of course they flash back to, well, I didn't get held at gunpoint. Like, Sutton,
Yes.
please read the
just about Dorit. Like, does she just not give one shit about Dorit? Like, because every time something horrible is happening to her, she's like, well, yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, I mean, well, our friend Psyched on Bravo, Jamie, did post a video that's saying like this is a pattern with Sutton and that she can't show empathy. She's proven that I don't know, I'm not a therapist, I'm not diagnosing anything, but she has definitely have a track record of not showing empathy towards anybody, really. I don't know if she's just in her own little world or what, but it was strange. They all finally arrive at the beach house, and Garcelle gives them all comfy loungewears. Now, I just needed to call this out because it's giving like ingredients. First, we have Texas, and now we have loungewears. Have you ever heard of anybody call it loungewears?
Loungewears. I'm going to change into my loungewears now. No, I don't know. Maybe it was just a mistake. Like,
it just made me laugh. It made me laugh. Garcelle, like, love ya, but you're giving Teresa Giudice just a little bit.
Totally. But what made me laugh was Jennifer Tilly gifting Garcelle a Dolce & Gabbana toaster. Iconic. Love it. Want one. In the same print that Garcelle was wearing.
Iconic. I mean, Tilly, I would love to get a gift from Tilly. She knows how to give a gift. Knows how to shop. That toaster was beautiful. I would never be able to afford a $700 toaster, but I would love to receive it as a gift. I mean, she's iconic. I loved it.
Let's be honest, it's probably just like a white label Cuisinart and Dolce & Gabbana just wrapped it in their print, put D&G on it, and sold it for $700. But I mean, like, I kind of want it. And Tilly, I feel like Tilly's job is gifts. Like, she just, wherever she goes, she shows up and she has a fabulous gift.
Tilly's job is rich also. Like, like Ken's job is beach. Yeah. Tilly's job is rich because that's pretty much all we hear from her is how rich she is, how much money she has, how she's so grateful to have the money that she has.
Yeah, I was going to say, not in an annoying way.
No, not at all.
she's not pretentious about it. She's just, it just is.
I love it. I also loved the moment when Sutton walked down the stairs in the loungewears and she had that hiked up like her goal. And Bose was like, girl, where is the waist? Where is the waist? There was no waist to be found in that room on that staircase. It made me laugh. It really, really made me laugh. So then they hop in the golf carts. They head down to the beach picnic. There's a cute little setup. We've seen this before. I think, is this beach picnic number 3 this season?
Yeah, we've had quite a few.
Yeah. So they have a little bar. Of course, Dorit orders her signature drink, but she doesn't make the beach bartender do the carcass out. She actually does the carcass out herself. What did you think about this?
No, when she ordered it, she said, "Can I have a Belvedere soda?" And I was like, and then, and there was nothing. And then Kyle comes over to talk to her and she's like, "Oh, I'm just in." So she did it herself. You guys, don't call her bougie. She can do it herself. And sometimes she does.
I think that maybe the lemons were already out on the bar in front of her.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, well, I'm not going to make them like take the lemons and squeeze them in. I guess I can do it myself. So yeah, props to Dorit.
Good job, Dorit. Yeah, so Kyle and Dorit go off and have a conversation. And I think we're all holding our collective breath of like, all right, how is this going to go? Are we going to get into another screaming match? And you know what? We actually made some progress. Did we get an apology? Not necessarily. But I think Dorit was smart in how she led with, did you consider us good friends? Kyle says yes. So even though on Instagram Live, she said we were never good friends. We were never close. I don't know why Dorit says that. Okay, so Kyle backtracks and says yes. And then Dorit says, do you want to salvage this friendship? And Kyle also says yes. So I think by sort of setting the intention of how this conversation is going to go, I think they started off on the right foot. So I think that was a smart move on Dorit's part. And Dorit just kind of tells her, like, look, when you said that in the text, like, I can be a friend and I've never repeated anything and I won't repeat anything. She's like, look, that makes me think, like, are you his friend or are you my friend? And it's as simple as that. And so I'm not confident that Kyle fully understands it, but she's like, okay, basically Dorit in this moment wants me not to talk to PK. So that's just what I'm going to do.
Yeah, well, thank God, like cue Girl Code by Countess Luann de Lesseps, because this should be ingrained in you, Kyle. You should know that if two people are not on good terms or are separating, you side with the woman. Dorit is one of your closest friends, let's be real. And the fact that she is acting like, oh, not being friends with PK and not talking to PK is like going to be so challenging for her. Like,
right.
It's like such a difficult decision. Oh, and caught in the middle. Like,
right.
No, that's not how this should be. You should have been on Dorit's side from the beginning. And I'm glad that she's finally realizing this. But I think the larger issue, what Dorit has called out before, is that she didn't realize this to begin with in the first place.
Yeah.
And that's like a little questionable, that you have to go to these lengths to decide whose side you're on and how, like, oh no, you can't talk to PK anymore. Like it shouldn't be that way ever.
Right. And not only that, but that she, even when she's being called out on it, she's like doubling down and like not choosing not to understand why or how this could be an issue. So that part to me is, I don't know, it's almost worse because it's like, okay, I'm telling you that this is to your attention and it's still not dawning on you, like, why?
Exactly. And like you called out, during this whole conversation, there wasn't one apology being like, look, I'm sorry that I said that. I take accountability for this. None of that. And also, there was no apology to Bose. I really thought that of all the people at that beach party, Kyle owed an apology to Bose for storming out of her house. Did they even speak? It doesn't even seem like Bose and Kyle spoke or had a one-on-one. I
Yeah.
think Bose was expecting an apology or hoping for an
Yeah.
apology from Kyle, but she didn't get it. I don't understand why Kyle has spoken to everybody but the person's house that she stormed out of. Am I the only one?
No, I definitely think it's a good point, and I'm curious to see if Bose lets this go, like kind of gives her a pass, or if she confronts her later on about it. We did get the mid-season trailer, which looks quite juicy. Of course, it starts off with some like fun, some laughs, and then things start to turn, and we get some more confrontations, and seems like more alliances questioned, and so I'm happy that this episode ended on a good note. They tried lighting their wish lanterns and it was a disaster and they were just flying across the beach and this poor cabana boy was chasing after them. And they were all just laughing and having a good time. Doesn't seem like, it's going to stay that way for long, but I am happy to put this PK thing to bed. Textgate, let's close it, seal it, put it away, and hopefully we never have to talk about it again.
Let's finally move on. Yes, the trailer, there was a lot of Sutton. I think Sutton's coming in hot in this second half. We also are getting a little bit more into PK and Dorit's divorce, where, there's this 10-year rule that is coming out about the divorce and whether he had timed it so he wouldn't have to pay her alimony and give her half of everything. So they're digging in and I'm ready for it. I'm excited. I'm excited to move on into something new. We got more Kathy Hilton coming too. Where has Kathy been? There's not enough Kathy. We get the iconic runway scene where she's with the models, the fashion show's starting and she's on the runway. So I'm excited for more of that too. So lots of fun to come, lots of drama to come, and we will be back next week to cover more Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
All right. Thank you guys so much for watching and listening, and stay tuned for more.
Bye, guys.